Okay, happy day after Thanksgiving, everyone. Hope all of you are fat and happy. Our most recent three-part series on the teardown of that M8. As you guys know, I don't sleep a whole lot. At night is when my brain sometimes really gets cooking. We got thousands of comments and questions about the teardown of the hows and whys, and you guys know I feed off of the hows and whys. This is a follow-up video. I want to cover a few points on the hows and whys, and after having some time to think about it, what I think really happened on the inside of that engine. So stay tuned. As you can see, I'm enjoying a cup of coffee on this wonderful morning. It's a beautiful day here in the North Georgia mountains. Well, let me digress for a second. You'll have to forgive the terrible resolution and lighting in this video and the audio because I'm on my front porch and my camera stuff's at the shop. So let's have a cup of coffee together. Anyway, so we've already determined that all the chunks that we pulled out of the lifter area were there from the machining process. So there's several things that we know here. One, we know this started from day one. We know he had an intermittent banging noise, and we pretty much already figured out what that was. It was all valve train related because of the metal packed into the lifter area there. So my big question was, how is it that all of that metal that's chewed up didn't circulate through the entire oiling system? All right, so when we first pulled the pushrod tubes up, we saw these big chunks piled up in there with a tremendous amount of oil in the lifter area, which you never see. The first thing I noticed when we popped the cam cover off is not that much oil was coming out of the cam chest. Oil should have poured out of it like anytime you remove a cam cover. But where did the tiny shavings come from? Now understand, these shavings were very, very small. They were almost like little needles, little hairs. So it was splinters, just very, very tiny. All right, so what I believe happened is you had these large chunks left over in that lifter area. When he would hear the intermittent banging noise is when that large chip would possibly catch the side of the lifter between the tappet cuff and the case. And that small piece would get lodged in there from oil pressure, and the lifter itself was shaving the large chunks. As the oil, of course, building up inside there, once it collected enough of those little tiny shavings, it would essentially just drip down into the cam chest. Now, an interesting thing with fluid dynamics, there's a particulate has to have a certain volume, a certain mass before it can actually get caught up and flow in fluid that's not in a pressure environment. So it's no different than sludge building up inside of a cylinder head on cars and everything else, right? So my thought is these shavings were so small and they built up in such a large mass with the lifter just shaving the big pieces, that it just dripped down into the cam chest. And because the chest isn't pressurized, there's no volume it didn't have enough volume, or it was too viscous in order for it to flow inside the cam chest and then get sucked up by the pump. So I believe that that's the answer, is how it did not get completely through the engine. And all of those small pieces, that sludge we saw that I was scooping out, was, let's just call it metallic sludge, comprised of those little shavings of aluminum that the lifter was slicing off almost like a scissor. Pretty fascinating, right? So you never really know what can go on inside of an engine. I mean, this isn't the first time that I've seen something like this, machining bits and pieces left over. Actually, I'll tell you a funny story that goes back quite a number of years. Have a sip of coffee. I had purchased one of the Twin Cam case, one of the 4060 board SE cases that were used to build the 120Rs. So I purchased a brand new case, and of course we check everything out, all that, and we built an engine using that particular case. And I fire the engine up, everything's great. Went out for about a 5-mile test ride, and it was like I dropped an anchor out the back. Of course, it was quickly determined that it was something. But I had a new cam plate, new oil pump, crank was perfect, everything else was great. So I tore the engine down, checked for any debris, there's nothing there, put it back together, and ride it for 5 minutes. It sumps, starves the lifters, and starts tapping like crazy. So I tore that engine down 4 times and could not find any issues anywhere. So finally, it just kind of hit me one day. There's a small plug in the bottom that's perpendicular to the hole that goes through the case for the sump. All right, and I took and put a camera up inside there, and what I saw was a piece of a zip tie, a little tiny square head of a zip tie. And so what would happen is that piece of zip tie would settle down into that port, clog that port, prevent the pump from clearing the sump out, and the oil would build up. As the oil built up, suddenly that piece of plastic would start floating. You would get some oil flow again, the noise would go away, that piece of plastic would come back down, clog the oil again, and then or the port again, and it would start sumping again. So, you know, this isn't the first time I've seen anything like this, but what was puzzling me the most is where did the chips come from, the tiny slivers, and why there wasn't that much oil in the cam chest. And I believe that's the answer to the question. The other thing, obviously, we saw that this engine got incredibly hot. So hot enough, in fact, that there were some nuts and bolts that essentially backed right out. I guess got hot enough to loosen up the Loctite, I guess would make sense. So anyway, so the total deal, the whole thing with this, I did speak with the warranty company about this. He does have an extended warranty on it. The extended warranty company has agreed to cover the cost of all repairs. And that's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing. Now, I will explain how extended warranties work. So they will cover the cost of all OE replacement parts, but he doesn't want to go back with OE replacement parts. So here's something that he will have to pay the difference for upgrading the internals. So we're going to put a new cam plate and oil pump in it, of course, a billet one. I am splitting the cases. We're going to check the crank, completely flush everything out. We're going to go back with new cylinders and pistons, and of course new lifters, and then put everything back together, and he'll be good to go. So it's this one that there's a happy ending to this story. I hate that the guy had to go through so much over 30,000 miles, but he's taken care of, and he's going to have a better engine when he's done. So this leads me to the second thing. You know, we've put out all kinds of different videos, you know, serious, you know, hardcore tech stuff on everything from fuel injection and machining and all that type of thing. The response to this video has been absolutely incredible, and guys, I can't thank you enough. Your engagement, your comments, and all that type of stuff, man. It really fuels me and wants me, you know, I want to do more and more content like this. But it kind of made me realize too that maybe you like a different kind of video than I think you may like. So I would like your opinion. You know, this is your channel as much as it is mine. So I would love to know in the comments, if you don't mind, what type of videos you like the most. You know, we do the hardcore tech stuff, but this was just you guys looking over my shoulder during an engine teardown. And of course, we tear down engines all the time and then build those engines back up. So is that the type of content that you want to see? Is it the mystery of the diagnostic and then the results that entertain you the most? I want to know. So if you don't mind, leave me a comment and let me know exactly what you like and what you guys want to see. As for this engine, to continue on with the follow-up, what I may do is talk to the owner of the bike and get him in, and let's do a video and talk to him and let him, you know, I guess vent a little and tell you what his experience was over this 30,000 mile saga on his bike. But if you guys are interested, again, let me know. We could do another video of building this thing back up. And just doing a really nice rebuild. It's not going to be a serious hot rod engine. That's not his style, not his thing. But it's, you know, it'll be a really nice engine when we're done, and with good and proper good and proper parts in it. So leave me some comments and let me know. Guys, again, thanks a million. I really appreciate your engagement with the channel, your subscription. Our channel members are awesome. If you guys are interested in membership, I put out a lot of behind-the-scenes videos for our channel members. Sometimes it's just no editing. I just set up a camera and let people watch us do different things behind the scenes on some of the videos and stuff like that. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, take a look at channel membership. But other than that, guys, thanks a million. I really appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful holiday weekend and have survived your turkey consumptions relatively well. Take care of yourselves and each other. Y'all have a good one. See ya.